the wise words of my good friend and dear colleague, Jan Ferraro, all pumps suck, but they all do it in a slightly different way. And we're gonna talk today about what that actually means, what makes the pumps different, and in general, how do they work? Before we get into how pumps actually work, there are a few things that we need to navigate for terminology. And that's because not every pump or every manufacturer follows the same phrasing or uses the same words to indicate suction. So when we think about different things, the first one is cycle. And that's actually how fast or slow the pace is of the suck. It's often known as a CPM, cycle per minute, and it's just how many pulls per minute are happening during different modes or phases. Outside of the cycle speed or how fast or slow the pull is, we also want to think about the vacuum. So the vacuum is the strength of the pull every time the nipple is being pulled into the flange. This could also be the level, and this is measured in mmHg, so millimeters of mercury. It's a negative pressure. Every pump has what's called modes or phases to help you figure out the process of using it. The whole goal of the different modes and phases that pumps have are to copy what a baby would be doing if they were nursing directly. So when a baby gets to a chest that doesn't actively have milk flowing, they will start with a faster suck. And that's a suck, suck, suck pattern to stimulate the milk to let down or to start flowing. On a pump, this is often called massage mode, stimulation mode, and other things because again, everyone doesn't call it the same thing. But in general, it's a faster mode that's not as strong in strength, just to get the milk to start flowing. And once the milk starts flowing, most pumps move over to what's called expression mode or expression phase. And this is going to be a slower suck and it's going to have a stronger strength. It's mimicking a baby drinking, so more of a suck, swallow, suck, swallow. When we think about how the pumps function, I want to start with the actual CPM. Again, that's the cycles per minute or how fast or slow the suck is. So not every pump allows you to have control over that. So for a preset cycle speed, what happens is the suction strength you can increase for what's comfortable for you, and that cycle speed is just going to adjust with it on its own. So it's preset by the manufacturer. So an example of a pump that has a preset cycle speed for every suction strength is the Zomi Z2 that you see over here. When you look at the screen itself, the buttons that you have for options are just going to be a power button, a night light, a play and pause, and then you can change between the two different types of modes and only change the suction strength. This is really helpful, it's very user-friendly, and those preset cycle speeds for every strength that you have just make it easier for you to navigate using the pump itself. So as you can see on the Zomi here, there's an indicator that shows what mode you're in, but the only thing I'm able to change in each mode is our suction strength. So that's gonna be that 1. So I can change that there, but the cycle speed is going to be preset by each of those levels. The options that you do have are to change through the 3 different modes, massage, expression, and then the 2-phase mode. What you'll see with this 2-phase mode is that it will have the different patterns of suck that it goes back and forth between. So it'll have that faster pattern like massage mode, as followed by some slower sucks like expression mode. And then there are some pumps where you have options to control the cycle speed between different levels. So for example, this is the Similary S6 that I have in front of me, and this one is very customizable in the sense that between those 2 modes, where it has a massage mode that's going to be faster, you can actually change the cycle speed in there between 60 to 80. And then on expression mode, you can also change the cycle speed to fit what feels best for your body. Something to note for cycle speed and vacuum strength is every pump is different in how high they can go. For example, suction strength, that mmHg, how strong that negative pressure, that pull is different for every pump. And if a pump has a cycle speed option, that also can be different for every pump. But the other thing that goes with that is how far it jumps between. So for example, when I talked about the cycle speed in massage mode for this S6 Plus, I said it's from 60 to 80, but it's not 60, 61, 62. It has increments, so it goes from 60 to 65, 70, 75 to 80. But not every pump goes up at the same increments. And so it's a little bit different. It's something you'll have to explore for your pump specifically, how it jumps. Same thing, like I said, for strength. The strength levels will jump up, whether it's by 5 or 4. It's different for every model. So again, just something to look at while you're using your pump. The other thing that goes right along with that when we talk about cycle speed and suction strength is some pumps have different levels. So for suction strength, if they have 10 levels or they have 12 levels, they may still have the same max suction strength, but how they get to that suction strength, again, those increments will be a little bit different. So knowing when you go through those levels that it may jump up higher, faster, so going slow when you increase your suction strength for your comfort. So as mentioned with the Acelleron S6 Plus, you have the two modes, massage and expression. And when you're in both modes, for example, this is massage mode, you can change the cycle speed, how fast or slow it is, from 60 to 80. But you can also change the level or suction strength between 1 and 5. And then when you go to the next mode, expression mode, you can change both again. The cycle speed has few options, and so does your suction strength or level. The benefit of having a pump that gives you this much control is you can really fine-tune what feels best for your body. And as time goes on, your pumping sessions may change, and so having all of these options can be really helpful to make sure you're using what works best for your body. So as I just mentioned, you have the two standard modes, but some other pumps have additional options for preset modes or functions that you can try. Now these are just additional modes. They're not something that you have to use, but it's definitely worth giving them a shot. The last thing I want to mention about modes are that some pumps are considered dual motor. And so most pumps have one motor in there and you control the suction for both sides at the same time. Now some pumps have that two motors, one for each side, where you can differentiate the strength and or cycle speed for your comfort based on each individual side. Now, again, this is an option that's out there for pump use. It's not something that everybody has to use or every pump has to have, but it can be really beneficial if you do have different comfort levels on each side. So when we talk about dual motor pumps, our first example is this Acelleron S7, where you can control both sides separately for the suction strength. And then we also talked about the cycle speed for these, where you can control the cycle speed, but only when both pumps are going at the same level or in sync mode. You can see that the cycle speeds are set at the top and you have 3 choices per level. Our next example for a dual motor pump is the Spectra SG Portable. And with this pump, you can control both sides separately still, but what you can't change is the cycle speed. So that is preset by the suction strength itself. So just a little bit different from the other pump. And we completely understand if all of this cycle speed, vacuum strength, and mode talk is a little confusing, because it is. Every pump does it a little bit differently, and we get that. So we actually created our unboxing playlist on our YouTube channel where it goes through each pump and how to use it and what those options will be for each specific model. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more updated videos to help you along your lactation journey.